Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can vibe code a website, but it's not going to be locked into AI Slop visually, and also you're going to be able to properly guide the development, so it's something you can actually maintain and scale, which is a real drawback with vibe coding a website. It's created so haphazardly and chaotically using Tailwind and just no structure within the sections that you're not really able to create further pages or tweak sections very easily. The only thing that really edits AI well is AI, and that leaves you without a measure of control, either in the creative design or in the actual development and further development. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the correct tools and the correct process and the correct prompts lay the correct foundations and set the correct constraints to empower you to use AI to do the heavy lifting, but not to have it take all of the lead and just run off the leash. So essentially this is professional vibe coding as opposed to just vibe coding like Debbie on the desk or anyone can tend to do and get quite bad results. So I'm going to really fly through this. We're not going to get the best output, but you're going to see the process and why it empowers you further. So let's get spectacular and jump onto the screen. So here I am at Feud Studio. This is an essential tool for this. And what we're going to do is create a project directory. And I'm going to create a new project called Scaping Business for a landscaping business, and I'm going to create the HTML project. Okay, so that's all hunky-dory. All right, fine enough. Now, if you're developing with best web dev principles, you want to have one source of truth, and this should come originally from your client's branding, so their color palette, their styles, radius, spacing, padding, all of that, the typography use. All of that should be defined with your onboarding, with your clients. And the job of the web developer is really to take that and put that into code and use that as one source of truth with variables and design tokens. Now, this is professional level web development, and it's something that you don't really see a lot in page builders and things like that, but you don't see it in AI coding. I'm going to show you how we can have that. So the idea really is to have a global CSS sheet, all right, a global style sheet that's filled with variables that have the values of your branding, and then we style on selectors and point those design tokens to those variables. Okay, so again, one source of truth from your client branding, and it cascades down through the project. This is what AI doesn't do, but we're going to make it. We're going to force its hand. So we're going to go to Gen CSS, which is a new desktop CSS framework. So Tailwind, I suppose Bootstrap, ACSS, they're all CSS frameworks. They try and give you something that you can just use as you know, within your project. This does the same thing, but it's not tied to any ecosystem. Tailwind is very utility class, which is not very good because, you know, we just know that's not the best way to do it, and that's what AI uses. Bootstrap is more component, really. ACSS is correct. It's sort of on variables and design tokens, but it's locked into WordPress, and you know, Gen CSS is you know, doing everything that any of those are doing, and it's desktop as well. So have it on your app, link it to your folder. It's going to output the global CSS sheet, and away you go. Okay, so we're going to let's connect to our new project folder. Okay. And then we're going to connect to an existing file within it. All right, so I could have just done that one actually. Okay, cool. So this is Gen CSS, and the idea is that we take that client branding and we're going to use the UI to you know, set the correct palette, set the typography that we need, color schemes, all of that, and it's going to output the brains of the project in CSS in variables and design tokens. It's also going to take care of all the base and resets for browsers and stuff. So our web project is just absolutely solid. Now, this is meant to be a very quick video about a particular sort of process. So I'm not going to take my time on this. I'm just going to do some cliche landscape kind of landscape gardening kind of color palette. So we're going to go grass green, sky blue, and a sort of an orange for accent and action, I suppose. Something a bit brighter than that. So that looks fine to me, okay? and it's already started the work, so you can see that it's generated the shades of my color palette and transparencies, all there in CSS, ready to go in variables, and it would have created design tokens as well. So that would be the color assignments. Okay, we can change these if we want to, if we have different ideas. So color primary, we might want to say that that's going to be secondary. Okay, although what yes, that is correct, but I want to turn that back, so color primary, I want that to be green. And yeah, cool. We're not going to do anything else on this. I want this to be a really quick video just to show you how we can vibe code professionally and with professional standards. Okay, so GenCSS, we are desktop coders, which means that we locally host our files. So we're going to use Montserrat for our headings, or as we should call it in professional web dev, our display. Okay, so I'm going to bung that in there, but I do need to add the actual assets. Okay, so let's jump back to Feud, because Feud gives us asset panel where we can actually handle all of this for ourselves. I haven't created the folders yet, so let's jump into that and do images and fonts. Okay. Cool. This is a fast fly through. I'm going to have more videos that'll take your time, but I just want to show you the power of doing this. Yeah, I just want to show you the power. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pop along to desktop because I have two font files. I have Inter and I have Montserrat. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly change the name of those so that the path is correct. So Inter and Montserrat. Cool. Okay, nope, that's not correct. There we are. Okay, so now that reflects what we have in GenCSS. Now, I'm just going to quickly, because I know that I'll need it in a minute, part of project gathering, part of, a project, even if it's, vibe coding, is providing the assets. So the client has given us a bunch of images. Of course, the truth is I actually just grabbed these from AI myself. Okay, so we've set that to images, and now we can drag those in as well. Okay, so we've got our assets. That's cool. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Let's go back to GenCSS. Okay, and you can see that now we're going to set the display to Montserrat, and we've got the assets, so it takes effect there. So yeah, you can see that. Now, I'm not going to do anything else for the styling really, apart from let's set a better sort of ratio. Golden ratio is a bit more prominent, and yeah, that's fine. The only other thing I'm going to do actually is quickly create, of course, we shouldn't use buttons, we should be using links, but I'm just going to chuck a button variant in, and I'm going to chuck on an accent button. Okay, so add that, and let's have a look. Might have to just give this a jiggle. There we go. Okay, cool. Right, so all good, and the important bit is that this is actually, let's have a look for this. It's generated in our CSS. Okay, everything's ready and good to go. Okay, right, I'm not going to fuss with anything else there, but we've got base and resets and all of that kind of thing. A final push just to make sure that it's all gone. So just click save, but it's all generated, and let's get back to Feud. Okay, Feud is telling us that we've got global CSS has had some changes. So Feud is a file editor, and if something changes externally, we need to know about it. So let's approve that, and we're good to go. Now, okay, using coding editors and frameworks and all that kind of stuff, this is when we start to get to work. We might start creating our website. Okay, but we're not going to do that because we want to vibe code. There's a rule with anything AI, to be honest, blog writing or anything else, 10-80-10. I heard this somewhere and I've really thought it makes sense. 10% is the human preparation, 80% is the AI heavy lifting, which is good and it's efficient, and 10% afterwards is where you are empowered to crack on and make it better, so humanize it again. Okay, so we are at the point where we're going to start that 80% and get AI involved. Feud Studio uses Terminal, just like VS Code, to integrate AI, and we're going to call on Gemini for this one so that I can save my Claude tokens. But Gemini does a great job, and yeah, this is what we want to use in this instance. Okay, Gemini is ready to go. Okay, now, okay. I'm going to do this really quickly. You should take more time with your prompt, but I've got a bit to copy and paste, and the rest I'm just going to quickly slap together. Okay. You can Mark Szymanski this and just talk into it if you want. I like to type so that I know what I've actually communicated. So we are building a local landscaping website, and are creating the index.html, the homepage on the index.html file. Okay, cool. That's a good start. We need to create a header, a hero section with full BG image, and then a trust section. I don't know, either in the hero or directly beneath it. Yeah, that's fine. Beneath it. We then need 3 services. Three services, patio and paving. What's the other picture that I got? Timber work, yeah, and soft scaping. Okay. The images for the services and the hero are in the images folder. Cool. Okay, that's fine enough. We then need an about the business section. If you use an image, just repeat one of the images as a placeholder. Cool. We then need review section with 3 reviews and a CTA. Okay, I'm not going to go any further than that. This is just for demonstration. Okay, it's a modern looking website. Right, now this is where I'm going to paste in a bit of code. I'm sorry, not a bit of code, a bit of a prompt. And this is the bit, unlike the project brief, that you should just always have handy. Now, you might want to tweak this a little bit further in line with how you work, but this is a good foundation for the constraints that we give AI, okay? I'll read this out to you. Only style on selectors and create them using BEM structure, using variables and design tokens found on global CSS, i.e. do the opposite of what vibe coding and AI usually does. Do not ever use utility class styling aside from the buttons. Gen CSS comes with utility classes. I don't like using them. I don't want those to be used in my project. Add the selector styling to styles.css. Any JS needs to go on the selector it is created for in app.js, such as the menu. Ensure you use ARIA for accessibility where necessary, and ensure you use best HTML semantics, including heading hierarchy. Okay, ready, go. All right. Now, Gemini is going to get to work. And I want to make something really, really clear. AI is the one that's going to create this website, okay? So it is going to look a little bit AI. We can't get around that. Using a lot of what the branding that's now in code through Gen CSS and the constraints that we've given it in terms of how it should develop the site, it might start us off with what looks like a starter template that you might get from a WordPress page builder or something like that. Or it might look a little bit AI influenced because it is AI. But here's the really, really important thing. It's doing all of the heavy lifting. It's creating all of our BEM structures and selectors. It's setting out the framework of it and doing... Oh, I just need to allow it to do anything it wants in this session. 2. That's a dangerous number sometimes. And so what we're doing is we're giving it all of the foundations and the framework, and then the constraints, and we're telling it how to actually put it together and giving it the resources to do it properly. Here's the thing. We might end up with a vibe coding looking or an AI influenced website at the end of this very process. But here we're at the end, then we'll be at the 90% mark. Okay, so 10%, 80%, and we're there. Usually vibe coding has to stop there. It's very difficult to go into a vibe coded site filled with tailwind classes and no sense made on how the sections are put together. It's difficult to go and then create another page that makes sense or make alterations to the design, and it's just not maintainable, it's not scalable. But here we have defined the structure, the way that it's built, and it means that essentially we can then jump into something that's 90% complete and start tweaking it. All right, we've got the selectors there, we can change the color of things, the scale on the typography, we can attach that that design token to another variable or whatever we want to do from the brain structure, that one source of truth. We can just play around with it and start to refine it, give it that human touch in design, and make use of the professional structural development that it's had. So yeah, you can jump onto ChatGPT or Claude and it can rock up an HTML page in just seconds. This process takes longer because it's doing so in a professional way, using our foundation and our constraints. Lecture over, let's see what we've got. Nervous time. Yeah, let's read it up. I've completed the landscaping website homepage. The implementation includes semantic HTML5, modern styling, I won't read everything out, hero and services, accessibility, mobile interactivity, It's ready for local preview. Cool. Styles.css has had changes. That's fine. We reload that, and we do just need to give the template another little bit of a boost, just to reread it. And this is what we have. Cool. And that's not too bad. I mean, it's a starter template. That's okay. This is quite nice. I mean, that's actually quite nice. I do like that it got the images correct. That's quite cool. Yeah, cool. Nice. About our business, cool. I mean, you know, it's quite standard, but it's a great starter. The heavy lifting has been done. I like the idea of the line here. Yep, and well, that needs more padding. Cool. And a different color. Right, cool. But that is not a bad start, is it? And it's all saved. It's all on our files. It's ready to go. Now, this video is already getting on. I just wanted you to see how quickly we can get to that 90%. And now we have what we need to, you know, get going and just refine things, put that human touch of creativity. Let's quickly see the mobile works as well. Does it work on the click? Ah, yeah, that's amazing. Go Feud and go Gen CSS, and Gemini had something to do with it as well. I'm really pleased with that. That's good going. All while I didn't have a slurp of coffee and I just yapped to you. Right. Let's refine some things. So we're going to leave the header as it is. Let's have a look at this. Obviously, this needs some attention. Okay. So the H1 hero font size, we can just change what that's pointing to. So yeah, that's a bit better. Now we might decide, actually, do you know what? We want that to have a different value. We want that to be a little bit bigger. In that sense, text XL, we pop along to the brains of our project, and we can start making a few adjustments. I mean, we can go right to here. We can change the values directly and just give it a little bit of a tweak. We might be happy with the rest of everything else. It is the golden ratio after all, but we might feel that we know better. All right, and I'm not going to do that right now, but the point is that we could certainly do that. Maybe as a bit of a demo, I'm just going to cut that, and I'm going to put 3 rem. Okay, and I mean that's, you know, giving it a proper value there. If we go to Feud Studio, Oh, that's not actually as good an example as I wanted. So let's go 13. Text text XL. Oh, and then save. Oh God, it's done it. And then I pop back to Feud. Global CSS has changed, so we're going to reload that, and boom. Okay, now obviously we don't want to do that. I'm going to go back to Gen CSS and paste in the original value. But I just wanted to show you there that we can make those adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to pop back to Feud again, and again it's changed, so reload. Okay, so anyway, that actually looks nice. Golden ratio was correct. Maybe this one, we're going to tweak this one down a bit. So I don't know, do we want that to be small? I think that looks a little bit better. And maybe this button, we want it to be button primary outline. Didn't we have an accent one? I think maybe we want that. Okay, yeah, let's button primary outline. I don't want to get into a pickle because I'm rushing. So button accent outline. I actually don't know the name of it, so I might just be completely wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. Okay, fine. You got to know the name of it all, but I'm just rushing through here. So verified expert. So we need to tweak that a little bit. So span, trust, and what have we got here? The font size. Should we just make that small? Oh no, God, no. We'll make that extra small, and the icon there. I don't actually know which one is attached to the icon, so it might need to just unpick that. That is the same. It's attached to the same. I think I'd separate that out, but again, the heavy lifting has been done. H2, that's good, and the P. Good stuff. Okay, maybe we would want, well, we've got the shadow on there and everything, so that's cool. This is the thing, you know, we've done it all. Color, var, primary. Okay, no. Let's get really colorful on this one. Secondary. Good stuff. Yeah, all right, so obviously, you know, got to tweak some buttons and things like that, but the main thing is that we're able to get started on it. Box, shadow, which one do we want to put on there? Yeah, just that's nice. Cool. Okay, and all right, let's just sort out the that call to action. We're just going to give it some padding, shall we? Yeah, okay, so let's do padding block, and again, we don't want to put hard values in here. We just want to, yeah, I mean, yeah, that looks better, and then we bring that one down. Okay, so var, we don't want that to be H1 size. We want it to be maybe H3, no, H2. Okay, that looks a bit better, and obviously we'd play around with this as well. Anyway, I'm just wasting your time now. Cool. Okay, so let's have a little peek at that. All right. As a first go, I don't think that looks overly AI, but the point is that all the main work is done for us. It's built in a way that we can actually work on and continue with. Okay, cool. So obviously the tools that we're using here, Feud Studio and Gen CSS. Okay, so Feud Studio is a desktop code editor, and you can use it to build Astro sites or HTML static sites, and you know you're good to go. It's also got an export to bricks, and then you've got a push to git button as well, so you keep your project safe. And then we've got Gen CSS, which is being released this week, the beta version. There is a waiting list for it, so if you want to get on that waiting list, you get the early bird price lock-in for a lifetime deal. Okay, so yeah, that's there waiting for you. See the description below, and you get Gen CSS on your desktop, rocking up the brains of your project, one source of truth. And you can keep AI on a leash and vibe code professionally. That's the difference that we're looking for. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it there. Any comments below would be absolutely fantastic, and like, subscribe, and all the rest of the stuff. Don't forget, get Food Studio, foodstudio.com. Links are in the description, and get on that Gen CSS waiting list. All right, cool. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.